So, I've been married almost for a week now, and I'm somehow just getting into making cocktails that bring back the memory of our trip to Mexico and our wedding and some of the drinks we drank while we were there. So today, I've decided to go for one which actually I put onto a cocktail. I don't know if you can see this, I think you can. We created a cocktail list for the reception, because otherwise you go to the bar in these places and it's an all-inclusive resort, and you say to them, well, what can you make me? And they say, well, there's the list of the usual sort of fruity numbers like pina colada, mudslide type drinks and mojitos. And they say, we can make anything you want. We have a full bar. But you sometimes want some more inspiration. So we put together a cocktail list and put a few different drinks. So we had Negronis, Manhattans, as well as the mojitos and some of their signature drinks from the resort as well. But one of the drinks we added on there is one called a Mezcal Jackson, because I love Mezcal, and this particular cocktail really sort of showcases the smokiness of Mezcal, and the other ingredients really complement it. It's a kind of late night, slightly sweet sipper. And I thought, well, why don't I just make one of those? It's a warm Saturday evening here in Pullman. The sun is shining. It's a gorgeous day. Sort of reminds me a little bit of Mexico, except it's no one speaking Spanish around me, and it's all green out there instead of sort of this deserty, cactusy, oceany feel that Cabo has. So anyway, I'm gonna make this drink, and it's a wonderful drink. I'm in honor of it. Wearing this t-shirt that the Andrzejczyk family got us. It's from a barbecue place in Syracuse, New York, and it's Dinosaur is what it's called. And I like the sort of little fiery, smoky idea of it being a barbecue place, because of course Mezcal has famously got that smoky aroma to it. So I'm going to get right down to it and make it. I know it's not quite right down to it because I've already been talking for about half an hour, but we'll do this anyway. And this is, luckily, it's an equal parts cocktail, so remarkably easy for you to be able to put together, assuming you have the ingredients, of course. So let's start with that Mezcal. I'm going to, it's late in the, nope, it's actually evening. So even though the sun's shining, it's evening. So I'm going to make this with 1 ounce of each ingredient. If you're not feeling so in need of a larger drink, you can make it ½ an ounce and you still get a delicious drink. It's great, those equal ratios. Yeah, you can make any size you want. Anyway, let's go right for this. 1 ounce of this Mezcal Joven. Make sure you use Mezcal Joven, not the sort of darker colored stuff with the worm in the bottom, which is not bad. I mean, I'm not going to criticize it. I drank a bunch of it when I was at university, and just especially if they're in the mini bowl, you get the worm, the gusano at the bottom, no matter what. This does not have the worm at the bottom, and really it doesn't suffer from that at all. Next ingredient is some coconut rum. I'm using Captain Morgan's coconut rum here. At the resort, they did not have this or something equivalent. They had Malibu, which is more of a liqueur. It's lower strength and it's sweeter, but this works very, very well. It's really got it gives a little more bite, but you've still got the sweet element of the coconuts in there. So we'll put this in there. We'll have 1 ounce of this, like so. And then the final ingredient, and this is really where the sweet comes into it. It also makes it slightly like a dessert type of drink. So that's why I suggest it's a late night sipper kind of cocktail, is amaretto. I'm using Di Serrano amaretto, and I've already measured this, so I know how much is in there. There is 1 ounce left, it turns out. Phew, close call. But here we go, we're just pouring the 1 ounce. Look at that, right to the brim of the jigger. And an empty bottle. I think I know what I need to get next from the liquor store. But there's another ingredient as well. Typically, this recipe, as I saw it on Difford's Guide, calls for Abbott's Bitters, which is an aromatic bitters, and it's from America. I don't have that, and you can use Angostura bitters if you want to. That's totally fine. But what I have are these Bogart's bitters. They're actually German, but based on an old recipe, and they found an old bottle that they tested. I've mentioned this before. I really like it, but the problem with it is you see that great big top that's like a bottle of beer on top. You could easily pour in like several ounces of this stuff. Not that that would necessarily be terrible, especially if you're making like a Trinidad sour or something. But for this recipe, I need 4 drops, which is like half of a dash. So if you had your Angostura bottle, you'd just go like that instead of the ch-ch-ch. I don't know if that makes sense. So just like that, rather, yeah, anyway. So, because apparently there are 9 drops, as I mentioned before, to a dash. But I'm going to use my dropper instead and just fill up a little bit like so. Put in 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I put in 5 drops, but you know what? I don't mind it because this stuff is delicious. We're gonna just give that a stir in our mixing glass, which is already conveniently filled with ice. Who knew that I could be so prepared? And this was a great drink to have at the wedding. You know, it's a little on the strong side. So people drink this and oh, that's a little strong. Well, yes, the mixer in this is, alcohol and ice. There is nothing non-alcoholic in it. Luckily, with the Malibu, that sort of weakened it slightly, but it's still a strong drink to be drinking. Bartender's like, oh, that seems interesting. Seems a little strong. They're not incorrect, but it is delicious. You know, like I say, a little sweet, but maybe at the end of the evening, maybe after dinner, maybe that's not so bad, you know? So anyway, I've stirred that plenty. It's chilly on here, but I'm going to pour this into a single old-fashioned glass. There's one of these nice glasses that Kate got me. I'm going to pour it into there with a huge, I call it a huge ice cube, one large ice cube. I still am not able to make the super clear ice cubes, but I think this looks okay. We'll pour this in like so. It's a lovely color. That little tint of the bitters makes a little bit of a difference there, I think. This is what it looks like, but let's see what it tastes like. I'll pretend like this is the first time. That is super tasty. I mean, it's a bit too much of a gateway. You really get the sense of the mezcal in it, but also that sort of coconutty tropical sense to it. The amaretto really makes it kind of sweet, but not unbalanced sweet. And then the bitters just round it out. It just smells wonderful. It tastes wonderful as well. I could drink these all night. Well, no, actually I couldn't. I think too many of these would be dangerous, but one here to share with you, that's just marvelous. So with that, I think it's time for my dinner. Oh, I drank this before dinner. Oh well, there we go. Cheers.